your mom, tell your brother, tell your father, tell your sister. Back to HasLab Galactus.
5 minutes later.
Galactus has been funded. Not just funded, but fully funded. At this point of me recording this video right now, it has 24,637 backers.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
I saw that.
Damn.
Killed a guy. Did you throw a trident?
Yeah, there were horses and a man on fire, and I killed a guy with a trident.
Been meaning to talk to you about that. You should find yourself a safe house or a relative close by. Lay low for a while, because you're probably wanted for murder.
There's a new Street Fighter on your windowsill. The weapon is peace, the word is...
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's most Hasbro pulsating action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Guys, we just had yet another Hasbro Pulse reveal thingamajig, and my goodness, there's just no stopping these people. Something has to be done. They just won't stop! But that's kind of cool, because they're revealing awesome stuff. Namely, another Spider-Man retro wave. Like manna from the gods. This is what I want. Just hook it to my veins. Retro Spider-Man with the top story. The biggest news to come out of this. Not just this pulse, but nay, the history of man. Honestly, if we're being legitimate, a new Ben Reilly Spider-Man figure. The sensational Spider-Man is getting his redo on the retro body, which is what we all wanted, and now we have it. And when I said we, you know I meant me. Because finally I've got another nice Ben Reilly, and this looks the business. I gotta admit, it's kind of embarrassing, but I audibly gasped when I saw it. I went, oh! It's so ridiculous. If there was auto captions on there, it would have been grown man gasps at toy. But yes, I was so happy to see Ben Reilly get more recognition and his day in the sun. And the figure looks good. It looks like what you would expect on the retro body. The only thing I'll say, which is a bit of a shame, is that it still has the small eyes. It looks like the head is the same retro head from the Spider-Man that came out last year. And those eyes don't scream 90s Clone Saga. They scream retro Spider-Man. So I would have been a lot happier if we'd had some big Mark Bagley eyes on him. But that notwithstanding, I'm still happy with him. He's got all the different hands, so that's pretty cool. I like all the different hands. That's good. He's got all of those, so that's cool. I just wish he had bigger eyes, because I'm hoping for a 90s Spider-Man. We're all still hoping for a 90s Spider-Man. So maybe when we get him, if the reds match, then I might be able to put a bigger eyes head on that Ben Reilly body, and then he'll be perfect. But honestly, we're off to a good start. And speaking of starts, it actually started with the black costume Spider-Man. And this was one that was revealed a few days ago by Jay Hernandez, so we've kind of discussed it already. I don't know why I didn't get a reveal. I guess Hasbro must have lost my address in the post. But the black costume... Could you have imagined if they'd sent me the Ben Reilly figure to reveal? Oh my goodness, my head would have exploded. No. Missed that chance. Never going to get it again. So now we have the black costume Spidey, and he looks, like I said before, after the reveal, he looks good. He looks fine. He's the black costume. It's great that he's on a bigger, stockier buck, because that looks more like black costume Spider-Man with the alien symbiote on him. So it's actually beefing him up a bit, even though he's just the same size as the other retro Spider-Man. But visually, in my headcanon, it makes more sense. So I was really, really, really happy to see that. And then in between those two guys getting revealed, we got Hobgoblin. See, I told you. I said that we were going to get a Hobgoblin, and that wasn't exactly a hot take because they'd been heavily hinting at it for about a year now. And finally they did it, and I saw just a little flicker of social media, and already people are kind of... they're not thrilled, because so many people were hoping for another Hobgoblin, because he's really hard to find. And what they've done is they've kind of simplified him. They've taken away the fish scale chainmail, which they say is more animated series accurate. And I'll give them credit that the color scheme is much, much brighter. It pops. It's a much brighter looking color scheme, which is in keeping with the TV show. I can't remember in my mind's eye, I don't think he had the fish scales in the cartoon. So, in fairness to them, it is a difference. It's not an improvement. I will say it's not an improvement. It's a downgrade, but at least it's a difference. So if someone has the original Hobgoblin like myself, you could justify getting this one. But honestly, I don't think I will. Then again, I'm going to order the whole wave. So when you order the whole wave, you save on shipping, so you technically get a figure for free. So I might as well get him, but maybe I'll sell him. We'll see. But either way, he looks like a bit of a downgrade. If you were desperate to get that old Hobgoblin and then you get this one, it's kind of like Sandman. It's like, yes, you can finally put Sandman in your collection. It's not as good as the one that came out before, though. And that's the same with the Hobgoblin. No alternate head, I don't think, either. So no Demogoblin head either. So that's a bit of a shame. Bit of a meh one, that one. Next, though, we have another great villain. One that I wanted, one that I was really, really after. Hammerhead. Yes! I called it! That's what happens when you list 100 Spider-Man characters that you want to see. Chances are you're going to get a few hits. And Hammerhead looks great. They said it's probably... It's funny to me that they don't know for sure. I would have thought that would just be like something they would know off the top of their heads. But it looks like it's on the MCU Happy Hogan body mold, the thicker suit. So that looks kind of cool. And then the rest of it, it looks great. This looks really great. He looks straight out of the Dick Tracy movie. You know, I really, really love that. So Hammerhead looks awesome. The great head sculpt. He's got a baseball bat. Surprised they didn't give him a Tommy gun, something more gangstery. But a baseball bat is still very like, hey, are you gonna pay us our protection money? Yeah, what's the matter with you? It's very Goodfellas. So I'm fine with that. And the suit, the pinstripe, it looks perfect. It's a really perfect figure. No problem with getting this one. He looks really, really cool. Then we go to another one that I asked for. And again, even a blind squirrel finds a nut occasionally, or a broken clock is right twice a day. We got Armored Suit Spider-Man, the Mark I armor from Web of Spider-Man, and it looks terrific. That's another one I'm really happy with. He's bright, shiny, silver, but the thing that actually caught my attention most, which I give them props and credit for, is that there is actually texture on the black parts of the suit. It's not just painted black like everything else. It actually has like a rigid Kevlar armored type look to it. Then you've got the steel spider webbing armor on top. So that's really good. That's an extra step when you could have got away with not taking it. So I give a lot of credit for that one because it's a really, really nice touch to have. So Armored Suit Spidey, that looks awesome. And the final one in the wave, taking it up to 6, I think, is Classic Shocker. And this is another one that a lot of people were asking for. And for me, even though I already have the original Shocker, I got no problem getting this one because he is very different. He's very, very different, so well worth it. Going to go fantastically on the villains shelf, on the retro wave shelf. He's going to look wonderful. I love that he does look thicker and chunkier on this body. He's got different... They were saying how his hands connect and disconnect differently because he's got the fists and the open hands, and they sort of disconnect above the gauntlet so that you keep the aesthetics nice. And that's a little touch that I really dig. He comes with the same swirly-whirly power effect we've had a bajillion times, but that's fine. In fairness, that actually really suits the Shocker, so I don't mind that too much. But that was the Spider-Man Retro Wave reveal, and I was happy with it. Although I wasn't sort of like blown away because there's only a couple of figures there that I really want as new characters. You know, it's Hammerhead and who was the other one? Shocker, kind of retro Shocker. Oh, Mark I Spider-Man armor. Those Mark I Spider-Man armor and Hammerhead are two new things that I can really justify. Shocker, I can happily justify because he actually does look like a very different design, so that's really, really cool. Hobgoblin is the weakest. I feel that's a downgrade to what we had before, so that's disappointing. Black costume Spider-Man looks really good. I've got 2 black costume Spider-Man already, but the pizza mold, it feels kind of passé, so I'm happy to have the chunkier, more threatening black costume Spidey. And then Ben Reilly, of course, just take my money. So just throw it all at the Clone Saga. So that makes me really happy to see. But again, I'm disappointed it's not a bit more 90s themed. But they weren't done there either. We got some more carded Marvel Universe, Marvel superheroes type figures. So we've had Hercules and Tigra announced, and we've got a few new ones now. And these are unapologetically, easy for me to say, unapologetically repaints, kit bashes, reuses. That's the whole point of them. It's to give folks a chance to get figures that they might have missed in the past. Problem is, I don't know how many people were asking for a couple of these, because the first one they revealed was the Falcon. And that made me double take, because I was like, we just had the Falcon. Like, he's not hard to find. You can go onto eBay or most online retailers and just order the Super Scrollwave Falcon for retail price. He's not any kind of grail. He's not hard to find in the slightest. And this Falcon is only a very minor repaint, a few little tweaks here and there, a slightly different costume, but again, that's an easy pass for me. I've got my original Falcon. It's barely been a year since they released it, so I just don't see the logic in that. I mean, like, why not release something like Bullseye that people are desperate to get their hands on? But there you go. I just don't get it. Similarly, Loki. This one is kind of a bit more annoying in as much as this original Loki back here behind me sucks. Like, he's generally considered a really, really bad figure. I've tarted mine up like a whore's drawers. But the fact of the matter is, this is pretty much what you are getting with the carded release. And you see, it's just it's so cheap. It's so cheap. The boots, there are no boots. It's just, it's just painted on. It's the flat feet painted on. So nothing there. Just a cheap looking plastic belt. Not even like they removed the fish scales from the Hobgoblin. They never even gave this Loki fish scales. That's just painted on and looking cheap. Then he's got his little neck thing, which is fine. And the head sculpt, this original one, you're getting two heads at least. This original one is kind of fine. But really, if they were going to do another Loki, surely Loki is deserving of a proper deluxe figure with, like, a nice cape and just impressive looking tooling. This is such a cheap way to do an A-list character, and they enjoyed doing it so much, they're doing it again. So the new one has this head and a different old man or older man looking head and a couple of daggers. But again, for me, that's easy pass. Easy breezy pass. No problem with that. But here you go. Guys, you're doing it right now. The third one. Excuse me while I tell these people who have been in the industry for years how to do it correctly. It's like, no. Industry professionals. You're not doing it right. Listen to the schmuck on YouTube, okay? But they're doing Lady Loki, and this is a nice kind of tie-in as well. They did mention to the Sylvie character in Disney Plus Loki. So this is when, I haven't read the story, but this is Loki. This is a female version of Loki. I don't know if it's our male Loki who was turned female, or if it's a female Loki from a different dimension. I don't know. That was very pitch meeting. Is she a Loki from a different dimension? I don't know. All right then. But I'm gonna get her because I think she looks really cool. Actually, when they said it was an old figure from a box set, I thought it was going to be Enchantress. So I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't Enchantress. But still, Lady Loki looks really nice. She's got all the tooling and accessories that make her look more interesting than the actual Loki, with a pretty looking kind of head sculpt, and the colors look very bright and popping. I think that is a really cool Lady Loki, so that one I will get. But really, looking back at it, it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag of reveals, but still enough to get excited about. I mean, you saw me getting excited about it. And of course, it wouldn't be a Hasbro Pulse stream without a few hints at the end. Although, actually at the start as well, they mentioned army builders for the MCU, and that's interesting. And they didn't elaborate any more than that. And they didn't even say it was coming. It was just something they were thinking about. Now, I've jumped on to do this so quickly, I'm going to have to try and remember what some of the teasers were. But one of them, they said that because we all loved getting a figure without legs, like Cannonball, they're going to give us another figure without legs. And I'm thinking, maybe Mojo, because Mojo technically doesn't have legs. Who knows? If I'm correct, then you heard it here first. If I'm not, then just forget about it. And then they also said that we were going to get another big deluxe retro carded Spider-Man figure, which totally hints towards the Rhino. That's a big one. I think Dan maybe had a carded Rhino behind him. No, what am I saying? Or maybe an old Rhino. I don't know, I have Rhino in my head for some reason. But either way, they said it's going to be a deluxe carded figure, so I'm guessing Rhino is in our future as well. And then also they showed kind of a World War II looking diorama backdrop, and also a barrel, like a barrel with bullet holes in it and stuff. And I'm thinking they're talking about the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends, and the original wave, when it came out 20 years ago, each character had backdrops, themed backdrops. So I'm thinking this is like a World War II Captain America themed backdrop. If we get characters with diorama bases, yes, sign me up. Thank you very much. All right, and I think that was it mostly. I'm sure there's a couple of little hints and stuff that I forgot, but those are the big ones, really, especially for me. Ben Reilly Spider-Man, Hammerhead, Shocker, Mark 1 armor, those are all great ones. Lady Loki, I'll go for that, but some easy skips as well. So guys, what did you think of the Hasbro Pulse stream? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, you can join the 6 clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you want to go one step beyond, then you can go over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior, throw a few shekels my way, helps keep the lights on. So until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Chill.
Coffee. Big time coffee.